Alrighty, so here we are in the entrance slips for lesson 2. Number 1 says Sam used 8 cups of sugar to make cookies. This was 2/3 of the total amount of sugar she started with. What was the original amount? Okay, I think number 1 is harder than number 2. And for some of us, it's just gonna take a little bit of remembering this is how we have to set up the problem. For some of you, it might make a little more sense. It depends where you are. So we have 8 cups, right? She used 8 cups. So we start with our 8 and we are dividing it. This was 2/3 of the total amount of sugar she started with. So we're going to be doing 8 divided by 2/3. So I would want to write my 8 as a fraction. All right, so it'd be 8 over 1 times, I flip the second fraction, 3 over 2. And I can cross divide. I can divide the 2 and the 8 by 2. So you'd get 1 and 4. So then I multiply across. 4 times 3 would give me 12 over 1 times 1 is 1, which is 12. Okay? And then you have to think, well, does that make sense? Like, she used 8 cups, which was only 2/3 of the total. It wasn't the whole thing. So 12 is bigger than 8. So it does make sense. All right. Now, how you would know is maybe if you set it up backwards, you would see that it didn't really make sense. So we would say the original amount was 12 cups. Okay, since we are talking about real life here, we should make sure that our answer does make sense. Number 2 says Patty decided to give 1/4 of a pound of her candy to her 5 closest friends. What fraction of the candy will she give to each of her 5 friends if she gives each of them the same amount of candy? Okay, that's important, the same amount of candy. So she is taking her 1/4 of a pound and she is dividing it amongst her 5 friends. Okay, so that means technically we are doing 1/4 divided by 5 over 1. So I would take my 1/4, multiply, flip the second one, times 1/5. So you would get 1/20. And then you have to think, does that make sense? Well, yes. 1/4 is small, but 1/20 is even smaller. Okay, imagine we did it backwards. What if we did 5 over 1 divided by 1 over 4? Well, then we would end up doing 5 over 1 times 4 over 1. You'd get 20. Does she have 20 pounds of candy? No, she doesn't. She only had a quarter of a, she doesn't even have a whole pound. Okay? So, again, check to make sure that your answer makes sense. So the answer would be that each friend gets 1/20 of a pound. Okay, that's what LB is. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. If you have more questions, please ask. Okay, send me an email, come ask me, or if you're good to go, then you can go ahead and move right on to the classwork.